Every Girl Living Women's Wellness Bootcamp. We've been doing about 5 weeks of wellness. Tonight is called Elevate Your Financial Health with me, Danny Thompson. And just to start or share a little bit about Every Girl Living, from the start, we've set out to create a unique way of treating women's issues, like more of a way of living, a wellness movement, if you will. And today, Every Girl Living brings customizable services, community, and education together for a truly integrated wellness experience. And so just a little bit about myself. Again, my name is Danny Thompson. I'm a FINRA licensed wealth advisor by trade. I've been in the finance industry for over 15 years, worked for several large Fortune 500 companies from Bank of America, Merrill Lynch, Deutsche Bank. And then I'm also a globally recognized meditation teacher and yoga instructor. So my mission as being a part of the Every Girl Living family is to continue to help women to blend sound financial strategies with mindfulness so that they can rewrite their money stories and lead a rewarding, fulfilling, and prosperous life that they desire.
I'm so lucky to have you.
Thank you, Ms. Carissa. So again, just a little bit more about Every Girl Living. We are a wellness practice, providing members with, again, customized wellness plans, which includes counseling, coaching, yoga, personal training, support groups, and then online learning. And so the mission is just to continue to help women by supporting and enhancing their personal growth. All right, so the goals for tonight, after this session, you will be able to identify your money story and how it affects your life, recognize the source of your money beliefs and what money beliefs are, and then apply steps or strategies to change those harmful money scripts and develop a new money mantra. Super excited. So some of the methods, we're going to start with a warm-up. We'll take about maybe 10 to 15 minutes, just to take a values inventory, a values assessment, just talking about what our core money values are, how do those values drive your actions. Then we'll move into our main session or piece, which is, what is your money story? We'll explore those beliefs and how those beliefs are actually affecting your total wellness. And then lastly, we'll cool down with a mindfulness exercise where we'll consciously create a healthy money mantra. All right, so to kick off our session this evening, we're going to start with the warm-up. Katie, if you would pull out your values worksheet. And I just want to be sure, can you guys still see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. Just want to check in. I've definitely gone an entire session and no one could see anything. So I just like to check in. All right. So to warm us up, just to kind of briefly talk about your values and more specifically your money core values, which we'll get into that. So if you pull out your handout, the top of it should read values, and you should see about a list of 50. And what we're wanting to do throughout this warm up is to take some time, quiet reflection, to read through this list. And as you're reading through, you're circling any value that kind of resonates with you or reaches out to you. And then after you're done with circling all the ones that resonate, we're going to flip over and list out the 10 values that most describe you. And then we'll reflect on the meaning of those. What was that?
Oh, no, I was trying to find the list. I found it.
Oh, okay. Perfect. And then there's a couple of questions that we'll touch on. And so what I want to just also point out is that there's another area that we'll kind of dive into, which is your money core values. And so I put up a little small list on the screen. And just to kind of explain, your money and your values, they actually do go hand in hand, because these values, they act as a guide for our financial habits and our financial behavior. And so as you're going through either through the list that's on the screen or the list on your handout, just being mindful of how are these things important to us, and then thinking through, is my spending reflecting these values that I'm circling? So just kind of thinking through that while you're circling. And so I'll go ahead and I'll just put a little timer on. Chris, I wish there was a way we could put some music.
Oh yeah, that would be really nice.
Some music on, some soft music, but
And I'm doing this together. I think I need this too, Dan.
I'm gonna do it as well. And that's the thing about this activity. It's not a one and done. You're continually exploring and defining and checking in with your values throughout the year.
Yeah.
Okay, so our timer is on. And Katie, if anything, is jumping out at you, or you have any questions while we're doing our warm up, please feel free to reach out. It's funny, the first word that jumped out at me, guys, was generosity. I think I just skipped 20 words. Carissa, was there a word that maybe jumped out to you?
Yeah, I think, well, I was going down the A's. The first word was the adventure. That one definitely stood out for me.
Mine was autonomy.
Autonomy.
Yeah, I circled that one too.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good.
We said 10, right?
I have 25 right now.
10 values. Well, you circle as many as you want, and then when we flip over, we're going to condense to 10. So that's kind of where it becomes challenging. But sure, that's a strategy if you want to just circle 10. That probably keep it easy. And then also notice if there's something that maybe you're hesitant to circle. Why is that? Maybe put a question mark next to
Really
that.
good, yeah.
Is there anything that I feel like I shouldn't circle? Maybe that should not be a value.
I had the reaction to somewhere I'm like, oh, I don't want that one. I think I don't want.
I like that.
I've been there before, and I don't want to live that, because that was kind of almost following somebody else's value.
Okay, so then once you have a good amount circled, just to be respectful of our time, then you would want to go ahead and flip over and then identify the top 10 values. And so we'll jot those down. and then begin to answer those three questions. Do these values guide your words and actions? If so, how? How do you feel when you make choices in line with your identified values versus times when you don't? And then what changes can you make in your life so that your choices and actions are more consistently in line with your values? These are some amazing reflective questions. So please don't feel any pressure to have a elaborate answer. If you just kind of want to jot down something, you can always come back right after the session, which I highly, highly encourage. And then for all of our community that will be joining after the fact, keep in mind that this warm-up, it's a key strategy. It really is in creating a healthy and productive relationship with money. Taking this time right now, it's 10 minutes just to become aware. This is a key strategy. All right, and we have about 4 more minutes.
I don't know what changes I need to make.
That's okay. That is okay. The goal is, by the end of the session, maybe we can suggest a couple of things that feel good to you. Oh man, I just saw this moderation. That's no fun. To avoid excess and find a middle ground. Wah, wah.
Danny, you mentioned you were FINRA registered.
Yes, I am.
What's your full name on broker check?
Danny Thompson.
Okay, that's not you then. I was just curious. I got my 66.7 in SIE. I work at Merrill.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That was my previous firm.
What'd you do at Merrill?
We can certainly talk offline.
All right.
Like we just got another person registered for this. I don't know if they'll join us tonight or not, but.
Oh, you know what? I was not checking the participants. Hopefully it was an open Zoom link, right, Carissa? People can just join.
It looks like you got 4 participants. Are there everybody in? Oh, it's just you and me. Oh, then Glenda. Oh, Glenda's here as well. She's muted.
Let's see. Oh, yeah. So sorry. Hi, Glenda.
There she is. You're hidden. He was
We
hidden.
have about 2 more minutes on our warm up. We're just going over core values, core money values. Feel free to take yourself off mute if you have any questions. We're happy to catch you up if need be. Okay, so as we wind down this warm up, we should have listed our top 10 values and then began answering those questions. are these values guiding your words and actions as it relates to money or to spending, to saving? How do you feel when you make choices in line with your identified values? And then what changes can you make in your life so that your choices and actions are more consistently in line with your values? Which again, if at this moment you're not coming up with answers, that's okay, right? The main point of this activity is just awareness, right? We're bringing awareness. I have found that oftentimes after a workshop like this, it's maybe 2-3 weeks later and you're like, oh yeah, that's how. I know the answer to that question now. When you're at Starbucks swiping your card.
Yeah. Like, wait a minute. I had said that I was not going to spend money at Starbucks anymore.
Does this latte align with my health value? Ugh, I don't know. No judgment. Okay. All right. So again, there are no wrong or right when it comes to values, right? This is personal. This is specific to you. Let me go back to sharing my screen. Sorry, guys, one moment.
Hello.
Okay. Yeah, and we just want to bring bring awareness to just thinking about defining what our values are as it surrounds our finances, and then do our actions reflect those values? So just bringing awareness. Couple of facts here. I thought this was really interesting. It says the average American has a consumer debt balance of $96,371, which is up 3.9% from 2020. And that debt is mostly stemming from medical bills, mortgages, credit card balances, and unpaid student loans. And then another interesting one, the number of personal bankruptcy filings in the United States has steadily increased over the last 4 decades, with 370,000 cases in 2022 alone. And it says, although bankruptcy is supposed to be clinical in nature, there are deep stigmas and emotional trauma attached to the process. So I just wanted to present or touch on some of this, just to, I guess, just to let everyone know that you are not alone when it comes to just financial stress or financial trauma, or just anything dealing with financial matters. You are not alone. There are thousands and thousands and thousands of people that are probably facing the same challenges that you are. So I think it's always slightly comforting to know that, you know, it's not just me dealing with these types of things. Okay, so moving into our next piece. And before I start, did anyone have any questions, or did anything come up that they wanted to share in reference to the warm-up? Okay. All right, so our next piece here is, what is your money story? And so briefly, our money story is a unique history with money that contains all of our thoughts, feelings, and beliefs about all aspects of finance. And then your money script is the belief that make up your money story that dictates how you think, feel, and behave in particular financial situations. And so to take a deeper dive into this, I have a video, excuse me, by Dr. Brad Klontz, which I think is amazing and will help this all to make sense. So let me go ahead and get that going for us. All right, and just to be sure we can all see my screen. Carissa, could you take yourself off mute and let me know if you all can see it? I'm sorry, I can't
I
see
can
it.
see it.
Okay,
Oh, I
perfect.
can see it.
Thank you,
Yep,
guys.
I can
Okay,
see it.
here we go.
So why do we sabotage ourselves when it comes to money? We know better, but we can't do better. Well, it all comes down to our money scripts. In this video, we talk about what money scripts are, where they came from, and how they can keep us from reaching our goals. Plus, I'm going to give you 3 tips for discovering and rewriting your money scripts. Coming up. Hey, I'm Dr. Brad Klontz. On this channel, we look at the best strategies to help you transform your relationship with money, master the psychology of wealth, and live a life of abundance. So check out the links and the resources in the show notes below, and if you're new here, consider subscribing. Now let's get started. So what are money scripts? Money scripts are those typically unconscious beliefs we have about money that we learn in childhood. They're passed down to us from our parents and our grandparents, and we learn them from people we hang around and from our cultures. We come by them honestly. Think back to what your mother taught you about money. What did your father teach you about money? Did they teach you either directly or indirectly that there will never be enough money? Or did you grow up believing that there will always be enough money so you don't have to worry about it? What did they teach you about rich people? What were their opinions about poor people? Now, chances are these lessons were grounded in some type of reality. For example, the money script that there will never be enough money will very often come from the experience of not having enough money, no matter how hard you try. Poverty, for example, is often a very painful experience and can have an impact on your relationship with money for the rest of your life. The problem is that we take these beliefs for granted as adults and we rarely go back and examine them, let alone decide to change them because we realize they aren't getting us where we want to be. Instead, they're kind of like an actor's script in a movie. We just continue to read the lines in our heads or out loud to our family and friends and believe that they're true, when in fact they are often quite distorted and can limit our success or even hurt us. For most of us, our money scripts are unconscious, but they drive all of our financial behaviors. Now, we've conducted many studies with thousands of people in recent years and found that money scripts are very strong predictors of your level of income, your net worth, your financial behaviors, and even your credit card debt. We've also found that wealthy people have very different money scripts than middle class and poorer people. You've heard about poor thinking. Well, our money script research has shown that this is a very real thing and it will keep you poor. Specifically, we found 4 patterns of money scripts, 3 of which are bad for your financial health. The first is money avoidance. This is the belief that rich people are greedy, money corrupts, or there's even some kind of virtue in having less money. It probably comes as no surprise that money avoidance scripts do not bode well for your ability to accumulate wealth. They're also associated with a whole host of financial problems. The second category is money worship. This is the belief that the key to all your happiness and the solution to all of your problems is more money. In fact, money worship scripts tell you that you can never have enough money. This money script is also associated with lower income, lower net worth, and self-destructive financial behaviors. The third category we have found is money status. This is when we link our self-worth to our net worth. The keeping up with the Jones effect, if you will. With this script, we won't buy something unless it is new, and we might even tell people we make more than we actually do. Money status is also associated with poor financial outcomes, and people from poor backgrounds are even more vulnerable to this script. The fourth and final category we found is what we call money vigilance. This is a belief that it's important to save for the future. The money vigilant will often downplay how much money they have or make. This combination of some anxiety about saving for the future and some secretiveness and frugality is associated with having wealth. The good news is that by identifying your money scripts and where they came from, you can start to gain power over your relationship with money. So here are 3 tips for discovering and rewriting your money scripts. Tip number 1, take the Klontz money script inventory. This is the test we developed for our research in which we've administered to thousands of.
Right. Okay, so I love what Dr. Klontz said about your money scripts being a strong predictor of your financial behavior, right? So what you're doing on a day-to-day basis, it affects your net worth, it affects your debt, it affects your daily spending habits, your daily saving habits. Everything comes back to what your money scripts are. And so for this piece of our session tonight, we'll be using our handout, the Create Your Money Genogram. And let me actually pull that up. So you can go ahead and, if you've already printed it, you can pull that up now. Let's see. Sorry, guys, I thought I had it up. Okay, here we go. Okay, so starting with page 1, what we're wanting to do is discover our money story. And so we're going to use this, it's almost like a family tree, but obviously our family tree, instead of tracing the ancestry, we're going to trace back and find out what our original money messages were. So let's begin, everyone, with labeling your tree, starting with your paternal grandparents and your maternal grandparents. And then after you do that, you're going to write down either a word or a brief statement about each person's money beliefs or behaviors next to their name. And then we're going to take a little bit of time to just think about those beliefs. How are they similar? How are they different? And then let me go ahead and pull up the example so we can see that. Okay, so with the example, I'll run through it really quickly. This is Gwen's money genogram, and let's see, she says after paying the bills at the end of each month, she does not have enough left to invest for her children's college savings plan. So her desire is to overcome guilt and shame, and try to figure out why is it that she has an overspending habit, and then to gain control over that. And so she starts with her paternal grandparents, Thomas and Sarah, and then her maternal grandparents, Alan and Claudia. I like how she put what their professions were. I think that might be helpful. And then she just jotted down a little sentence that kind of summed up what the grandparents' beliefs were around money. So for instance, Thomas, he was a judge, and he says, "I'm not made of money." That sounds familiar, right? Money doesn't grow on trees. That might be one. Sarah, homemaker, my husband is the financial provider, but I take care of our family. And then on the maternal grandparents, Alan, he's a salesman. I work hard to play hard. And then Claudia, the substitute teacher, always keeps a secret stash for shopping. Keeping a secret stash for shopping. That's interesting on a couple of levels. So I'll give you a few minutes to jot those down. And again, if you're unable, if nothing is coming to you at the moment, right, you just like really can't nail down what your grandparents' beliefs were, or even what your parents' beliefs are, it's okay.
Yeah, I was really young for me to even know. I mean, it was, and I was trying to think of like what family people said about them. So that was interesting. So I'm like, what did they say? What did my family say about my grandparents? You know, what was that about? But I have to say, yeah, and I kind of had like an aha with my mom. It was I will never have enough. So it was almost that. It's like because at first I was like, there's never enough, and then it was like, I will never have enough.
And to that point, Carissa, sometimes it's not something that was said, right? It was just behaviors.
Yeah.
Right. I know a couple examples I've heard, maybe when it comes to things in the kitchen, right? So like maybe disposable forks. You have some people that they don't throw them away. They keep them, they wash them. When it comes to shopping, right? Perhaps you only were allowed to buy 2 pairs of jeans for the school year, or things like that. Or maybe finances weren't talked about in the home, right? There was maybe this divide between the finances And maybe the kids didn't get in on those conversations, or maybe you did.
Yeah.
So just a few more minutes there. And I can actually bring up that slide that Dr. Brad, that might help to think through. Hold on here. Here are some other common beliefs on the screen. I have to work hard for money. Maybe I can't afford that. Or it's fine. We'll just put it on the credit card. No worries. And I'm interested if perhaps none of these beliefs are resonating. Maybe it's something completely on the other side of the spectrum. Maybe there is tons of money or access to money, but maybe a guilt around spending the money.
Yeah, my grandparents on my mom's side were like, they lived through the Great Depression, so they're big penny pinchers. My grandfather's deathbed, he was teaching me about retirement. Like, he had to impart all of the retirement knowledge to me. And my mom was a big, like, she was a saver, but she also spent a lot too. You know?
That's good.
It's kind of contradictory. Like her, I don't feel like she professed always save, but then she would, spend.
Very interesting. Very interesting. Yes, I have a parent that is a spender.
I think my dad is kind of the same. He didn't believe in like spending like on frilly things, but if it was like a vacation or a out to dinner, like a moment, then he would spend and splurge.
That is interesting. I think that kind of ties back into those values, right, Katie? So perhaps one of your dad's values was creating experiences, fulfillment in life. I love that. Having choices available to you. Okay, so hopefully that was enough time to kind of get through that tree and thinking about some of the money beliefs. On that second piece, it says to consider while you were doing that, or you can come back and add this piece to it, consider these 6 key influences that could impact your unique money story. And the 6 are the family background, gender, generation, religion and spirituality, social class, and then money events. How do these key influences impact your attitudes toward money today? So I'll just give you a few moments to interact with that. And that'll lead us right into page 5 or number 3, which is then taking everything from parts 1 and 2 and kind of piecing it together. So summarizing what you've uncovered. And I also have on the screen the 4 categories that Dr. Brad mentioned, which was the money avoidance, money status, money worship, and money
Is that a slide?
Vigilance.
Yeah, just to let you know, we don't have that slide.
Oh,
we can't see the slide.
Are you not even? Okay, thank you for letting me know.
We see it. Yeah, I can see you, but I can't see the slide. There it is.
There we go. Okay, so here are the 4. Money avoidance. Rich people are greedy. People get rich by taking advantage of others. Money corrupts people. Good people shouldn't care about money. Or maybe religious people shouldn't care about money. Money status, your self-worth equals your net worth. I will not buy something unless it is new. If something is not considered the best, it is not worth buying. Money worship. Money is power. The more money I have, the happier I'm going to be. Money buys freedom. Things would be better. My life would be so much easier. I would be so much happier if I had more money. And then, money vigilance. Money should be saved, not spent. It is important to save for a rainy day. Got to have that emergency fund. 3 to 6 months, right, Katie?
Yeah.
I would be a nervous wreck if I did not have money saved for an emergency. So those are just some of the categories that Dr. Bragg mentioned. And you can jot these down if any of those kind of like, yep, that's exactly a money script.
Can you be a money avoidant and worship money too at the same time?
I think so. I think that your overall money story is a blend of some of these, right? Just like Katie mentioned about, was it your mom who's a saver and a spender?
Yeah. She would never admit that she's a spender.
It's okay.
She also she was a Mormon for a while, and they believe in having a 6-month supply of like food and like everything basically, so that, or 6 month supply of savings and food in case of like an apocalyptic event or something. So she has that like ingrained in her.
I've never heard of that. Wow.
It's a Mormon
Thank you
thing.
for sharing. Yeah. And I'm sorry, I missed number 3 at the bottom. It says, how does each of the money scripts above impact how you feel and behave around that aspect of money? So we're just looking at those 4 buckets there: savings, spending, investing, and gifting. And this is a loose guideline, guys. Feel free to kind of work outside of these 4, if there's something else that's coming up. Or again, anything from these categories on the screen. It's interesting. I think before I took a deep dive in the world of finance and really understanding the power as relates to saving and investing. I think I want to say I thought more money would make you happier. I think that was a belief.
Or at least for me, I think it was buys freedom. Buy freedom. Money buys freedom.
Yeah.
Which, interesting enough, is one of my values is freedom.
So then a question could be, is it possible to be free without money?
Yeah.
So that's good. Okay. All right, does anyone have any questions or anything that also stood out for part 3? Something that I thought was interesting, it says that our money stories are actually set by the time we're between 7 and 8. So young. And then we bring those same stories into our adulthood, into our careers, and they play out. Those stories, those beliefs are playing out in our lives. And so then we have this opportunity, right, to become aware of the stories, to become aware of the script, and make a conscious decision of, is this belief serving me? Right? Is this in alignment with the values that I circled at the beginning of this session? Are these beliefs in alignment with what I want for my life, for retirement, for my business? And so then moving into our final piece here, our cool down, we'll step into creating a healthy money mantra or changing your money story. I love how it says, if you want to, it is a choice. And so I would like to just use this example. I know it's referencing investing, so, but that's okay. I do like it. So the belief here is investing money into the stock market is too risky. This is a belief. And so I could certainly see maybe someone that grew up in the Great Depression, or had a grandparent that grew up in the Great Depression, or was around when the stock market crashed in 1929. There's been several since then, but could possibly have this belief: investing money into the stock market is too risky. And it says, how does this money script negatively impact your financial life? The example here is, I'm missing the opportunity to let my money work for me and potentially increase my assets, my retirement assets. So once we identify the script that we are wanting to work with or change, then we need to think through, how is it negatively impacting me?
For me, mine's like, I will never have enough to be financially ready for this, that, and another, like I'll never have enough to retire. I'll never like have enough to be able to comfortably like have a child, like, and then it probably, leads to more spending because of that like fatalistic attitude. Well, if I'm never gonna have enough, might as well spend some now.
That's a really good point. Yeah.
Yeah. Now we want to take that and create a new money script, a new belief to replace this one. So we're reframing, we're pivoting. This example here says, with the guidance of a trusted financial professional, investing in the stock market is prudent. Or maybe one, Katie, could be, with all of my knowledge about finances, I can create a plan that will help me or guide me to have enough. So we want to reframe that money script. So that it feels good to us. And it is a reflection of whatever your values are or whatever the goal is. Being able to retire, being able to start a beautiful family. And then the next step is maybe jotting down 1 or 2 behaviors that would help to make that money mantra true or to manifest. So in our example, Katie, you know, having enough, maybe a first step could be looking at a budget, right? Just becoming aware of where you are right now.
Budgeting is hard. I've only been doing it for 2 months. I'm 32. It's a little too late, but I guess better late than never.
Never too late.
Stop this grade. It's never too late. It is never too late. And budgeting is a challenge. I totally agree.
I think sticking to the budget is the challenge, right?
Yeah, that's you nailed it. Yes.
Creating the budget, man, that's easy.
Creating your cute little spreadsheet.
Sticking to
like
it.
I said, right? Me and my Starbucks.
Yeah, $5 a day, $5 a day compounds, you know, I mean, if you save that $5, I can think back, and I would say create your budget, but post it on a bulletin board in your house where everybody that you know can see it. I mean, that's terrifying, but we used to do that when I was, you know, first married. And there was, you know, it was like a piece of paper with a line of all, like what we owed. You know, electricity, you know, at the time was like $150. That was the budget every month, $150 for electricity. We couldn't afford cable, so we didn't pay we didn't have cable, you know, I mean, but, you know, we had our mortgage, we had electricity, we had the truck payment, you know, and I can remember a cousin of mine coming in and going, you really only spend like $300 a month on food? Because I would write down everything in that box to get to the 300. Okay, I went to Food Lion today and spent $66. Oh my God, I have, you know, $120 left for the month. How am I going to make this work?
Yes, you know? I adore the accountability. That is wonderful, Glenda. And yes, a money journal is very similar to like a food journal when you've decided that maybe you want to lose a couple of pounds. And so you start with becoming aware of what am I eating every day? Same thing with the money journal. How much am I spending on a daily basis? Right? Like Glenda said, when I go to the grocery store, I'm recording how much did I spend this time?
Even to this day, our budget is more, obviously, you know, I mean, you know, so but I know it in my head. I've created such neurons that I could tell you where I'm at in the food budget this month and how much money I have left, you know, and so, and this is, you know, 30 years of just that practice.
It's hard. I feel like I'll budget out, oh, I can spend this much on food, and then I go to the grocery store and we're like over that. And it's like, but I feel like I need all of the food that I'm getting. And then and my husband's a big spender, very bad at budgeting, very bad financial. Like he grew up in a completely opposite family than I did. My parents are like much older than his. They had parents in the Great Depression. And they were big savers, and then his parents were big spenders, lived in much more poverty, and they would, you know, anytime they go to the gas, like for this is a perfect example, anytime they go to the gas station, oh, what do you want to drink? I'm gonna go in and buy a drink and then get gas. My parents, we were never allowed to get a drink. We were never allowed to get a piece of candy. They got gas. If we were to even ask, they're like, money doesn't grow on trees. No, that's a whole bunch you could be saving. And so I struggle with that with him. He's always like, look, I'll go and you want anything to drink? I'm like, we don't need anything to drink. We're going home. Like, why do you need to spend? That's more money to spend. So it's a battle.
That is interesting, Katie.
Yeah.
I applaud that you already connecting the dots, right? Like your husband has that history of those beliefs from what his parents allowed him to do. And so now he's just subconsciously doing those same things, acting out those same behaviors. Very interesting. Carissa, any thoughts about that?
Well, a couple of things I was thinking, I was thinking about myself, to be honest, because I'm participating today, I guess. So I'm like, I was thinking about myself, but I was thinking about kind of my husband and our money scripts and how different they are, kind of like what Katie was saying. And I noticed that added to this not even my money script, but my just core belief that I tend to do is to take care of and to make sure everybody is okay. So even if I know the money maybe should be spent in a different way, if my husband wants something, a lot of times I will accommodate because there's that people pleaser there sometimes. And so I have to be aware of that. It's like trying to make everything like, let me make everything okay.
Yeah.
And that's really, that's a budget buster.
Yeah, it is. I 100% can relate.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
setting boundaries.
Yeah.
As it relates to finances. Yeah.
Which is sitting into that discomfort, right? Leaning into that discomfort of going, okay, I really want to make things better right now. And but then realizing that this isn't going to make it better. This is going to make it worse. But in the moment, it feels really uncomfortable. And so kind of leaning into it. But I was going to say something, Katie. You know what I've done, Katie, with that whole budget thing is it's more expensive, but it's not. So part of it is we live out in the boonies. And so when you consider us driving, it takes us 25 minutes to get to the store. Like if I want to go to Aldi's anyway. But I've started doing Instacart. And you would think that would be more expensive, but what I actually did an experiment. I ordered from Target on Instacart, and I knew exactly what I was going to do. And then another time I decided to go to Target to buy food, and I spent more money inside Target than I did through Instacart because all the other crap that was around. Yeah, Glenda, yeah. I was like, this way I know exactly what money, like, okay, and I go through the house and I go, okay, I need this, I need this, and I need this, and I don't have the temptation to buy other stuff, and it helps me stick with a budget. Because then I always know I'm like, I'm going to spend maybe $100 this week. That's all I'm going to do. I might up it if there's a sale, or if I'm doing Costco and I know that, that's going to be, I can offset it for the next week. But for me, that's kind of been helping me stay on target. Yeah.
How much
no
extra
pun intended.
is Instacart?
I think I think each store is a little bit different. So I've noticed that some stores will hike up a little bit more than others. Like Publix actually, with their BOGOs and their sales, it's not that bad. But if you pay for the yearly, like $99 a year, you get a free delivery. So, yeah.
Well, and I think that in Dixie, in this community, they don't have as many stores anymore, but they built a distribution center as big as Publix on the west side of town. And you can go online to, I'm pretty sure it's Winn-Dixie, and order all of your groceries and have them delivered. And yes,
Kroger does that too.
Yeah. You're paying for it, but the difference is this is directly from the grocery store, and you're not paying a shopper to shop for you. Right. And so that's what those other, like Publix, you're paying, like if I was a shopper, I would have the Instacart thing and I would go, oh, okay, I'll go buy your groceries. I'm at this grocery store. I'll buy 3 people's groceries, and I'm going to get paid for that by the extra cost that they charge. So, I mean, to save us money, because for my family, the difference was, instead of ramping things up, because we had a family, we don't have a family anymore. We do, but they're all grown up. They've all left the house. And so I had a hard time scaling back, like I'll go to the grocery store and I still will buy groceries as if I'm feeding 6 or 8. because we had
Glenda, I'm right there with you.
my house. So I had to learn how to buy groceries for two without waste, because we all waste groceries, and the grocery store loves for you to waste groceries. So now what we do is we spend a little more for Blue Apron, but I don't have to go to the grocery store, and I don't do it every week, but it's just enough food that we don't have to go out at all. It's like, and it's menus, but there are ways to do it. But I will have to say that to start on any kind of financial plan, I found that early on in my relationship, my husband and I argued a lot about money, and you've got to get on the same page with your spouse. You absolutely must. It's imperative. You cannot do it solely on your own. And that's the hardest thing to do. And so, I'll say, I love you were talking about stories, the way we always thought about it. And I watched it, she's so old now. You guys probably never heard of her, Susie Orman. She used to be the money Susie, right?
I follow her on LinkedIn.
Yeah. So she always said, what's your first memory of money? If you think about what's your first memory of money, and that's that 8 years, 5 years, everybody's got a first memory of money, whether it's your tooth fairy or, whatever, that sets the foundation. And that is the best way to have a conversation with your spouse about trying to figure out how they approach money. Sit down and ask your husband, well, what's your first thing on money? I was lucky. My husband's like, well, I had a $1 bill and it was a coin. It was, those old coins, those really cool coins that somebody gave him. And he was told he could take it and give it to the bank, and then he could get it back from the bank. So he did. He went and made a deposit. He took that coin, and the next day he felt bad. He wanted his coin back. And the woman said, oh no, I can give you $1, but I can't give you your coin. And to this day, he thinks that woman pocketed his coin and then the next day gave him the $1. So, but now I knew exactly how he approached money. He was afraid to share it. He didn't like banks, so yeah, so finding that out.
Very interesting.
But talk about
money. And I just shared a book. And I just, I hope you don't mind, Danny, but I did share a book with everybody. It's called Financial Infidelity, although I spelled infidelity wrong when I was typing it. So I apologize. But it's an interesting book. It's on 7 steps to conquering the #1 relationship wrecker. And so it's just about what we're talking about right now. #1 relationship wrecker.
Wow. I don't think I knew it was the #1.
All right, Jay, did you bring it up?
That's so interesting. And you know what, to your point, Carissa, I did not realize that having that stash of money was considered financial infidelity. So you're just not even cognizant or aware of what that means. So that's great. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah. Well, and don't
just to echo everyone else, Katie, that is probably going to be the first step, is to have a sit down, maybe a glass of wine or a seltzer and a hamburger, and have a chat with your husband.
He clams up every time we talk about money. It's a very stressful topic for him.
It is.
Well, more reason to, which is the hard part, that is, and more reason to have your board, get a white erase board with a big calendar.
Yeah, I do like that idea.
And change it, write it down, and put it as a visual. I think that's important, but and talk to your kids about money all the time. My kids never understood why we didn't go to McDonald's. And it's like, we just never went to because we didn't have the money back then. I was picking up peanut butter and cheese from the food bank. I didn't have money to go to McDonald's. I couldn't take them to movies. It's like, it was tough, and so, and my son's first impression of money was, well, you just go to the machine. It's like, well, what machine? The one at the bank. Well, it's like, where do you think that money comes from? And he was like, wow, well, the government puts it in there. It's like, oh, no. Daddy puts the money in there.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Great.
I know our son thought we were poor for a really long time. And I'm like, no, honey, we're middle class. It's just we're choosing not to spend and have
Yes.
like the big screen TV and things like that. Yeah. And so it took him a while to understand that, but no, yeah, just because we don't have all these little toys doesn't mean we're poor. But yeah, interesting.
This is great.
Good stuff.
I hope that this session, it's meant to be very introductory. So I hope that it was enlightening. Before we, I guess, end our session, did anyone else have any questions? Again, the book that Chris has shared, it's in the chat, Financial Infidelity. You can find it on Amazon. With, I guess, final words about the healthy money mantra. The idea is that once you've created your new script or your new belief to replace the one that's no longer serving you, you kind of want to put it somewhere that you can see it every day, right? So maybe writing it on a note card, or I think Linda said maybe somewhere in the kitchen, somewhere that you're going to be able to have it be a visual reminder of how you're going to approach aligning your decisions with your values. And when those thoughts or when those beliefs come into your thoughts or come into your mind, that's when you're going to pivot, right? You're going to take that moment, take a breath, and use your new money mantra to help you to make a decision that feels good, a decision that's in alignment. And then, Katie, I'm happy, Chris and I, happy to talk to you offline about maybe a couple strategies that you can use to have that healthy conversation with your husband. And Glenda, thank you so much for all the wisdom and all the golden nuggets that you shared tonight. That was absolutely amazing. Krista, any final words before we part?
I do have a question.
Yeah,
but I'll wait.
I'll go for it.
Sure. She just asked you, so. What do you think about this whole? Okay, so I have the whole, like, recognize, I guess, based off like my parents, is I have like this save, splurge sort of habit. Like, you know, not like I'm splurging my savings, but like it's like I'm trying to save, and then we'll, like, for example, going to the grocery store and then getting too much that you feel like you need, but you're really kind of splurging. And then all of a sudden there's something you really, really want. And you're like, you finally get the money and you're like, oh, I gotta have it. But it's like, it's so conflicting because I've got like the grandparents, you know, who are like the big, you have to save every penny. Money doesn't grow on trees. Like, you have to save. And then of course I got my husband who's influencing me on spend. And then, like, you know, and I was thinking about this the other day, the whole, like, we haven't even tried to have a family because it's so expensive. Like, oh, we don't have enough money for ourselves. How are we going to raise a child? Like, you know, and like that whole idea of like never having enough money, like, I guess it's what leads to the spending. It's just like, I'm never going to have enough. I might as well spend a little. I don't know. What do you think about that whole like save splurge cycle? Like, how do you stop that?
Okay. Here are my thoughts about
Best wisdom and advice. Go.
I think you're already on your way, right? You've made the time to come to this session. You are becoming aware that it is a cycle. That's the first step, bringing awareness to it. I think that once you come up with the money mantra, the new belief, so I would perhaps reframe it to, we will have enough. We are working towards having enough.
Yeah.
We are working towards having enough.
We can do
How
this.
we can
Yeah,
do
we
this.
can do this.
Yeah.
How do we do it? The first strategy was to write down the money mantra. The second strategy is to have that sit down with your husband, right? Hey, I would like to start a family. I know that was something that we both wanted. How can we do this? So kind of blow it out, right? It's not just a conversation about money. It's a conversation about what we want our next 10, 15 years to look like. And if we want to have children, we want to maybe get a bigger house. How can we do that?
And I would say, from the cycle that you're in, the save, spend, it's an addiction. It's no different than an alcoholic. It really isn't, and so you really have to address it that way, because obviously after you have that rush of spend and it feels good, and then all of a sudden the money's gone, it doesn't feel good anymore, right? It feels miserable, and then it takes even longer to recoup what you've lost, and you're not getting to the point where you're feeling to where you have enough in savings that you can look at it and you can really feel good. And so I would put your savings money, and the advisor would probably in a different account, something that's not as easy to get to. So you're not like spending it immediately, because if you've got to be paying yourself first. That's the first bill you need to pay. And if you've never done that, it's a muscle that you've got to activate small. And I don't care if it's 1%, I know they always have goals, and I don't know what it is now, it's 10% of your income or 20% or whatever, but I don't care what it is, but it's got to be $1. You got to start somewhere.
Or you start to go, I don't have anything, so we have to have that money. Yeah. So that's that whole, Dave Ramsey pushes a lot of this stuff, right? So this is,
I was just about to say, cash is king, Katie. If you really want to cut it,
cut the cards.
If you want to stop it today, take all of your cards out of your wallet and you start budgeting with cash.
That would be great.
Very similar to what.
But everything is paid for online, all your subscription services and
So another way you can do it,
cancel them.
So you can cancel them, but there's another way of doing that is you can have like Glenda says, you can have separate accounts that you don't have easy access to. So for having an account for this, an account for that, and you don't keep those cards with you. You don't have the numbers saved on your computer, things like that. And so that those automatically go out, and then take out maybe cash, like they're saying, for your own spending. Or if you want to have that, like we ended up going to Navy Federal and opening up an account just for our spending money. That's our play money. And so then that way we're not dipping into our, pay bills account, because then that starts to get really convoluted. So if you're finding that way to do that, so it's still kind of that envelope system, but you're having accounts for for those instead. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And what's the,
we use the cash method, Katie, for grocery shopping. So each pay period, I'm working with about $350 cash. And this is what I have when I go into the grocery store. Although I do have 3 kids, so I'm a little bit more mindful, right? Because I need to make sure that I can cover lunches and everything else. So that helps me to stay focused and not get everything that's on sale at Target.
All the pretty
just
things.
Don't shop at Target. You'll save money if you don't go there.
I think it's true.
Exactly.
Right.
Wow, this has been so good. So good.
One more thing though too, Katie, is that thinking about this money mantra, or the when she's talking about the money script, this is really the same kind of thing as that we look at cognitive behavioral therapy when we're looking at our core beliefs. So this is something that you can just kind of roll into your counseling sessions. So when you're, talking to your therapist, being able to say, I discovered that I have this core belief around money, and I really want to kind of, just like I'm doing with other areas, because I'd like to, work on it in this area as well. I see that it's influencing, because, like I was sharing, the people pleaser, or I want people, you know, I want you to be happy. That's not just a money script. That's a life script that I've had to challenge and work on. So I think that's a big piece of this is take this to your counselor, work through it, because you're going to find that it's probably showing up in other areas.
It's all connected, right?
All connected.
It's all connected.
Yeah. So with that said, is that, yeah, we have this, we have one more left, and I'm actually teaching, so I'm really excited. I'm going to be talking about relationships. So I hope y'all come and join me and then share with people, it's not too late for them to come. We do this every year as just a service to our community. We also want people to know about us. And so definitely, if you have anybody that you think that could use, a little deep dive into creating meaningful relationships, then definitely let them know. It's not too late and it's free for anybody. So yeah, thanks guys for coming.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you, Glenda. Thank you, Katie. Thank you, Carissa.
All right. Good night, you guys.
Have a good night, everybody. See you next week.